Hello and welcome to another episode of Weekly Dialogue from Vietnam Investment Review. We are very honored to have here with us today a very remarkable guest joining our studio to explore the intricacies of Vietnam's digital economy and the pivotal role of multinational tech corporations in its advancement. But before we dive into the discussion, allow me to set the stage with some background information. The digital economy has contributed consistently to Vietnam's GDP over the past 4 to 5 years. According to data from Google, the country has the strongest digital economic growth in Southeast Asia for 2 consecutive years, at 28% in 2022 and 19% in 2023, which is almost 4 times higher than the GDP growth rate. There are a few key factors driving this growth, including a very robust entrepreneurial spirit, a young population of focus on innovation, and a forward-thinking government vision for digital development over the next decade. Besides this, domestic and foreign businesses and corporations are also playing a vital role in partnering with the government to develop programs driving innovation, building capacity, and nurturing talent resources. And Meta Group from the US is among these key stakeholders, particularly in advancing the semiconductor and AI industries in Vietnam. With a global platform of almost 4 billion users, including services such as Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Threads, Meta has been assisting Vietnam in our global connection and seizing opportunities from AI. To further dive into this topic, we have here today Dr. Rafael Frankel, Meta's Director of Public Policy for Southeast Asia. Dr. Frankel, thank you for joining us here today.
Very nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Right. Dr. Frankel brings a wealth of experience with nearly 20 years of work in Southeast Asia, both as a former journalist and in his current role at Meta. He's currently on a working trip to Vietnam with the U.S. Asean Business Council led by Mr. Ted Osius, the former U.S. ambassador to Vietnam, to explore further possible partnerships with the country. Dr. Frankel, how are you today, and how does it feel returning to Vietnam this time?
Yeah, I'm good. It's always good to come back to Vietnam. I love it here. Fantastic food, great people, exciting opportunities. I love how Vietnam is always focused on moving forward. And so it's a really vibrant place, and it gives me a lot of energy.
Well, that's great to know. So could you share with us a little bit about your journey with Meta? When did you start, and how has the experience been for you?
I started about 5.5 years ago in October of 2018. It's been a great journey. I'd say, what I find really interesting is a year at Meta feels like 5 or 10 years in normal time.
I hope those are good years, though.
Mostly it's been great. Otherwise, I wouldn't still be here.
Right.
I've really enjoyed the experience a lot. But that doesn't mean there haven't been some hard times too.
Right.
The company's gone through a lot, but I'm just so optimistic about the future of Meta in terms of the products that we're bringing to the market, the immense number of people that use our services. We're at 4 billion people now across the world. It's just hard to conceive of how big that is. It's the largest human community that's ever existed, in human history. And so there's a tremendous amount of optimism about where we are as a company. I love Southeast Asia. I came here for the first time 24 years ago when I lived in Bangkok. Yeah, it's changed a lot. Vietnam especially has changed a lot.
Yes.
Some parts of Southeast Asia, everywhere's changed, some more than others. Vietnam is certainly on the high end of the countries and places that have changed.
Yeah.
Right. But and it's remarkable, really, the progress Vietnam's made. Really amazing.
Right. So let's dive into the topic today, which is the relationship with Meta and the development of Vietnam. So Meta and the government of Vietnam has shared a long-standing and trusted partnership in driving digital transformation, right? And as we're now reaching the midpoint of the Vietnam's National Digital Transformation Program, could you share with us a little bit about how Meta has been contributing to advancing this agenda?
Sure. There's a lot of different programs and partnerships that we run with the government. Let me touch on a few. Some of our flagship work has been in the area of digital literacy. We have a program called We Think Digital, where we've trained nearly 1 million people across Vietnam in digital literacy skills, which are incredibly important for the 21st century and for everyone to understand the right ways to operate online. I think we'll cross the 1 million person mark this year, and that's been across the country, north, central, south, in almost every province, I think. We've had some great partnerships that we've run with the Ministry of Planning and Investment, including what I was here to do yesterday, which was launch the second year of the Vietnam Innovation Challenge, which has been really fun.
Right.
Last year, we had our first year. We had over 60,000 expressions of interest, 750 applications. We had 12 amazing winners. And this year, we're moving forward with the theme of AI and semiconductors. And the whole point is to bring innovative solutions to help support Vietnam's digital economic growth. But there's a number of other ways that we've contributed to Vietnam's economy. We work a lot with Vietnamese creators and providing digital skills to SMEs. We have a program called She Means Business, which has trained tens of thousands of female entrepreneurs across the country in digital economy skills. And we're going to keep doing that, right? There's just a wealth of ways that we're going to partner with the government going forward.
Right. There's a very exciting initiatives from digital literacy to, the Vietnam Innovation Challenge, and then your work with, women in advancing women in the digital space. So, but let's talk more about the initiative, which you said that you were here for, right?
Yeah. And
it's also been gathering a lot of attention in the past few days, the Vietnam Innovation Challenge, spearheaded by the Ministry of Planning and Investment, along with Meta. And as you share, right, it's achieved remarkable success. And I've heard that it's received hundreds of applications from not only Vietnam, but also other countries as well, right? The US, Korea, Singapore, the Philippines,
Taiwan, Hong Kong.
Taiwan, Hong Kong. So could you provide some further insights into this accomplishment?
Sure. Let me just talk about one of the winners that we had last year, right? The whole point is to provide these innovative solutions to accelerate digital economic growth. One of the categories we looked at was supporting Vietnamese SMEs. Well, one of our winners developed this amazing a platform where small businesses, SMEs in Vietnam, can house all of the operations that they need, whether it's human resources, sales, accounting, or all kind of in the same application. And that app has now been used by over 50,000 Vietnamese SMEs, over 100,000 people. You can think about just the power that this one app that was developed as a result of the Vietnamese innovation, of the Vietnam Innovation Challenge, has already brought to the market. That's just in 1 year. And that's just one of the 12 winners, right? So think about what this could achieve over time, right? This year, as I mentioned, the theme is AI and semiconductors. Let's talk about why. With semiconductors, you have the hard infrastructure of the future, and with AI, you have the soft infrastructure of the future. And the beauty of AI is that it's almost like a blank slate. The only limitation is what you can imagine, right? And so to think that Vietnamese entrepreneurs and what they're going to be able to achieve with the AI tools that Meta and other companies like us are going to bring to the market is really amazing.
Right. These are truly remarkable. And again, congratulations on the past year's success of the initiative, right? In the bigger picture, what do you anticipate that this role of this program and also other similar initiatives from Meta would contribute to the government's digital transformation goal?
I think over time that what we want to see is that this program and the technologies that it helps develop act as a force multiplier to accelerate the digital economic growth, right? You have certain technologies and certain programs that kind of just steadily help grow the economy. But then you have other ones that go like that, right? We call what we call hockey stick growth or J curve growth, right? That's the point. We want to bring innovative solutions. And you know what the beauty of innovation is? Some things don't work,
right?
And some things do. But all you need is a few that really work, that just have tremendous pickup and can just propel the entire economy forward, right? And so
for example, Meta, right?
Yeah, Meta's one of them. Absolutely. Look, did anyone think 20 years ago that Meta would now be used by 4 billion people across the world? Did anyone imagine that Meta and Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger would be such an incredible tool for SMEs to reach customers. Did anyone think that it would be the kind of singular way that people communicate across the world? No, but here we are, right? And so if only a few of the innovative solutions and the project winners become the next big thing, then this will be an incredible achievement, and it will propel Vietnam's digital economy going forward.
Right. So let's put more focus on this year challenge, right? Which was officially launched a few days ago. Could you elaborate on some of the focal key points of this year's program? Is there any difference or more advanced features compared to last year's?
I think the difference is the theme. The theme really is going to focus, like I said, on AI and semiconductors, right? And this is the moment to do it. This is the big AI moment, right? I think what we saw in 2023 was this is the year that the world woke up to AI and the potential that AI holds for all of us, right? And so what we really want to drive now is to get Vietnam in at this crucial kind of opening moment of the AI era, right? And make sure that Vietnam is one of the countries that captures this moment where anything is possible. I said yesterday in the launch that I think Vietnam could be the dragon of AI in the region, right? And so I think that's really what we're focused on. Like, let's use these AI tools that are being brought to market, and we can talk later about some of the ones that Meta is bringing to market, in a way that can really be a tremendous accelerant for the Vietnamese SME community and for the government, and for research institutions, healthcare. I think the most amazing thing about AI is it's this blank slate. I said earlier, the only limitation is what you can imagine. People are already talking about the applications of AI on the fields of building new pharmaceuticals to tackle disease, to enhance education, to combat climate change. I talked to someone the other day who thought he could build an AI application to limit wildlife poaching. The sky's the limit.
Right. Some people even go as far as to say that it has the potential to unlock opportunities on a scale that we see once every few decades, right? And they even compare it to the internet or say electricity. So yeah, as you mentioned that Meta is a big player in this field, right? So what are some of the applications of AI that you believe would be beneficial to businesses and people from Meta?
Yeah, maybe the first thing I could say is that Meta has been a leader in AI for many years already, right? So the way that we use AI for a number of years is to deliver content to people that they like, right? That we use AI to deliver you content on your Facebook and Instagram feeds that's tailored for you, right? We already have what we call Meta Advantage Suite for our advertisers that helps them use AI to both build their ads, target the right customers, and all for an exceptionally low price, right? So it's an amazing tool for SMEs across the world, including in Vietnam. We've used AI large language models for many years already, including in Vietnamese, to moderate content on our platforms and make our platforms a safer place for everyone to be. These are the ways we've already been using AI. Now, let's look forward. Last year, we introduced our Llama 2 large language model, which is a model that allows people to take that large language model and build off of it. You can build applications off of it and create all sorts of different AI applications, right? It's a very advanced model, and later this year, we're going to release our Llama 3, which is going to be even another astounding advancement in these large language models and AI chatbots, right? And then, developers around the world, because we're an open innovation company, like we release them. Many you can apply for the use and then you can use it. And so that means that developers all over the world, including in Vietnam, will be able to build applications off of those models, right? Which is going to unlock a tremendous amount of opportunity. We're also launching our Meta AI products inside of our applications. So already in the United States and a few other countries, there are Meta AI chatbots inside of your Facebook Messenger, in your Instagram and your WhatsApp, right? Where you can chat with an AI inside of the products that are already on your phone, right? And those are going to come to the Asia Pacific very soon in 2024, and I think Vietnam will be one of those countries too. And so you're going to see all these different meta AI products coming to Vietnam in the very near future. Now, if we look even a little bit farther, we're incorporating our AI technology into our metaverse technology. So our virtual reality headsets, our augmented reality products that blend both the digital world and the physical world, they'll have AI embedded in them. So there's just an immense amount that's coming down the road, and people are going to start to see it very soon.
Right. These are all very amazing innovations. But let's come back to the Vietnam market. As the Director of Public Policy for Southeast Asia, how do you assess the level of, say, openness of the market, of the Vietnam market specifically, to all of these innovations, right? Do people know about it? Are they taking enough advantage of it?
Well, they're going to know about it soon, right? I mean, that's why we're here. We're here talking about it. We have the Vietnam Innovation Challenge to promote it. But I think that everyone understands that AI is the next big thing. Okay, but now it's got to come to the stage where, okay, what are the real applications of it, right? And I think that's what 2024 is going to be. I think it's going to be the year when people in Vietnam really grasp what the tools are and how they can be used. And more importantly, how they can use the models to develop the tools that they need. This is where the innovative spirit of the Vietnamese people comes in, and the entrepreneurial spirit of the Vietnamese people come in. I cover a very large part of the world, and I got to say, I don't know that there's anyone more entrepreneurial and determined than the people of Vietnam.
Well, that's great to know.
And it is. I mean, but it gives Vietnam a real advantage when it comes to a moment like this, where really, developing these types of applications isn't going to be expensive. And so this is a moment where Vietnamese innovators and entrepreneurs can really just start to stop for a moment and think, hey, let's just imagine what we want and let's go do it. And that's a moment where they can, and we're here to partner with them to make it happen.
Right. How do you address the questions in terms of cybersecurity, though? Because as AI is such a advanced innovation, but also comes along with it a lot of concerns about cyber threats, and as if people are not aware of it.
So I think one reason that we are a company that believes in an open innovation model is because releasing these models to the public and to researchers means that people can test them. Right. People, and not just inside Facebook, not just inside Meta, but people in the public, research institutions, governments, right? They can test the models themselves. They can try to we encourage them, try to beat the model, right? So that we can all work together to make the model safe, right? And that's the beauty of the open innovation way of doing things and the open innovation method, right? And so I think that's really the way we're going to work together with governments and civil society and the industry to make sure that this is a safe technology going forward. The other thing I would emphasize is AI is used, and I said this, we've been using AI, large language models, to moderate harmful content already for many years. One of the reasons we can operate a platform of 4 billion people safely is because we have AI. Right? That's something that couldn't be done without large language models operating in many different languages around our world and our platform. And so AI also has this amazing capacity and capability to promote safety.
As far as I know, in Vietnam, not just the people, but also the Vietnamese government is currently very keen on enhancing capacity and talent resources for semiconductor and AI industries, right? So from your point of view, what solutions do you believe Vietnam should prioritize? What can the government do better in the near future to bolster these resources?
Investments in semiconductors is really smart. There's going to be a tremendous need for semiconductors and chips to run AI technology going forward around the world. I think that, the other thing that we can do is continue partnering. You asked about making sure that AI is safe. Well, that's why we have programs like We Think Digital that we're partnering with the Ministry of Education and Training, right? We're going to make sure that AI is incorporated into those programs, right? We're going to work with the Ministry of Planning and Investment on continuing to push the envelope with the Vietnam Innovation Challenge and other aspects of this. But I think that the key for the government, I would say, in terms of policy, is two main things. The first is, one of the reasons that Vietnam has been such a successful economic story over the past 25 to 30 years is that the government made a strategic decision that Vietnam is going to be an open environment for investment in technology, right? So companies like Meta and the other big technology firms have decided we're going to place bets here in Vietnam because the policy environment has been an open one. It's welcomed investment and it's allowed innovation to flourish, right? So the first thing is make sure that open model stays that way. Right. We need that open model to continue, right? And we have very constructive conversations with the government all the time, and not just us at Meta, but the U.S. ASEAN Business Council, who we're here with together, and other partners in the industry, about how to maintain that open model while also making sure that the proper privacy and safety safeguards are put into place. The second part, and it's something that we are going to be talking with the government about this week, is what happens with the 6 gigahertz band, right? We need a 6 gigahertz band to be opened up to Wi-Fi. Most Vietnamese, the actual volume of content that's accessed in Vietnam is still majority via Wi-Fi, right? We need that broadband to be able to see the videos, run the AI apps, that people are bringing online right now. And that's going to really be the accelerant of economic growth here. So that 6 gigahertz band really needs to be opened up to Wi-Fi. We think the government is moving towards a decision in that direction, but we just need to encourage them to make that final decision. So once that 6 gigahertz band is open, that really will allow for an immense amount of additional bandwidth to power all this technology going forward.
Right. It's exciting to hear that all of these changes are happening, right? And it's also pretty clear that Meta considers Vietnam an important market, right?
For
That's
sure.
why you're here.
Absolutely.
And evident through also many other meaningful initiatives through multiple sectors. As you mentioned earlier, the Vietnam Innovation Challenge, we think digital, she means business. But aside from these, I'm just wondering if are there any other significant initiatives or engagements in the pipeline, both for Vietnam and also the region?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so let's look at Vietnam first. Vietnam is actually the #1 global market for Meta when it comes to business messaging, right? So businesses talking to customers via our platforms, most Messenger, because that's the platform that Vietnamese people like. In other parts of the region and the world, it's WhatsApp, okay? So we're going to continue focusing on business messaging as an area of investment in Vietnam. Last year, we had our first business messaging summit. We're going to do one again this year, working out the details now. We're also working on a number of different partnerships with the Ministry of Information and Communications to further some of these goals that we've been talking about. We have a long-standing partnership with the Ministry of Planning and Investment, Ministry of Education and Training, Ministry of Public Security, right? So there's a lot that we're doing in this area. I think I already mentioned some of the business tools that we've brought to market here in Vietnam for small and medium-sized businesses and the large ones too, to take advantage of our advertising tools. And look, I think that over time, we'll look more at what we can do with our metaverse technologies here in Vietnam. And as I mentioned already, we're going to be launching, hopefully this year, our Meta AI products in Vietnam, which are really going to, I think, blow people's minds when you see them.
Right.
In terms of the region, Southeast Asia is, a definite growth region for Meta. It's really diverse. I think that's one thing about Southeast Asia is you just have such different types of culture, societies, governments, economies, right? And so each country kind of needs different types of solutions, both in terms of a business standpoint and what we bring to market in terms of our products, but also how me and the team that works in public policy and government affairs, how we engage with the governments and civil society and partners around the region. But look, what I think is really clear is that in many ways, Southeast Asia is a region of first adopters. What we saw with business messaging is a perfect example. Like we didn't really think of a product of business messaging. It was organic. The people of Vietnam and the businesses of Vietnam just started doing social commerce on their phones, using our products.
Yeah.
That was completely organic, right? And so, and we see the same thing happen in Thailand, by the way, which is the #2 global messaging market for Meta. And that's the way I think our technology is used throughout Southeast Asia. We see these organic, interesting uses of it when it comes to creators and Instagram and all sorts of other ways. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to keep paying attention to what the people of the region tell us and what they need, right? And then we'll develop and bring the products to market that can service that. And I think the AI products that we're going to bring are really going to be part of that.
Right. That's wonderful. Like, it's such a mind-changing experience to know that, like, you can be a creator or something, but then you launch it out to the market, and then people would use it like in a way that you didn't imagine, and then like all these exciting things happening. And I have statistic here that says that in Vietnam, over 70% of consumers use business messaging to reach out to businesses. So that's really wonderful.
Yeah.
Right. But when it comes to digitalization, many SMEs are still perceiving it as reserved for bigger corporations, right? So what is your perspective on this viewpoint? And also, what would be your advice for SMEs in Vietnam to effectively use the tools provided by Meta to advance their digital transformation?
Yeah, so I think that we already talked about Meta Advantage Suite. That's an amazing set of AI advertising tools that SMEs can use, and they're designed for SMEs. They're very simple, they're very inexpensive, and they're very effective at reaching customers. We talked about the business messaging products we have. Maybe what I would say is, if you look going forward, what AI is going to help SMEs do is grow at scale like they've never been able to do before. So business messaging is a great example. The people of Vietnam, customers, start talking to businesses on Messenger. And they say, hey, I'd like to order, that scarf for my mom. And then, okay, they have an exchange online, and then there's a transaction. Usually it doesn't occur on our platforms, it occurs off, that's fine, right? And okay, but that transaction, that communication requires a business to have someone who's there online typing back, right?
Right.
Imagine if you could put an inexpensive AI chatbot that would now answer customer queries.
I think that's already happening, and yeah.
Okay. And so that means that one SME who's maybe, it's a couple people in the shop, below their apartment, right? They can now interact with hundreds, thousands of customers, instead of one by one going through the orders, right? Look at how fast they would be able to scale up their businesses, right? So when I think that of the potential for AI, it's actually the SMEs that are, in many ways, the ones that stand the most to gain from the technology that's coming.
Because you said that, what it does is it level the playing field for everyone, right? So SMEs and big corporations alike. Right. So you mentioned earlier that a lot of payments are not happening on the platform. Is it something that you want to push in the future?
We're always looking at different products to bring to the market, like I said. I think that there are countries where we have some payments on our platforms. We launched a form of that in Singapore earlier this year. We have some form of that going on in Thailand. I think it'd be an interesting thing to see in Vietnam, but we don't have any announcements to make on that right now. I think that really a lot of that is market by market and looking at how people are using the platforms and what's the best solution for the market.
All right. So also, in addition to support for businesses, as you mentioned briefly at the beginning when you were talking about, Meta's initiatives, supporting people digital literacy is also an important part, right, in the goal of developing a circular digital economy. And you mentioned that the company is managing to do that for 1 million people, which is great. So as the managing company of some of the most used social media platform by Vietnamese people, how is Meta contributing to help people in their digital skills? And can you go specifically into, the programs and what it does and what's your goal for that?
The digital, the We Think Digital program that we've been running for, I think, probably 4 or 5 years now. One of the beauties of it is that it's adaptable, right? It started out really teaching what we kind of consider the core fundamentals of digital literacy, right? Like how to keep your account secure, how to look at information, recognize what would be authentic information as opposed to misinformation, how to, what we call digital citizenship skills, like thinking before you share content, right? And other ways to ensure that you're engaging positively online, making sure people don't engage in negative behavior online. Well, over time, what that program's allowed us to do is to adapt to the trends that are coming in the technology fields, right? So now we're going to incorporate AI into our We Think Digital program. So that people understand kind of the basics of AI and how they might look at content and, hey, is that content that's been generated by AI, or is that content that a human being has generated, right? To be able to tell the difference, those kinds of things. And so I think that, as we go forward, we're gonna make sure that we maintain that adaptability, right, and continue to partner with the government on what's important for Vietnam this year, right? There's always going to be a kind of baseline that we're going to try to teach, but that's going to evolve over time as the technology evolves with it.
Right. And I feel like there's huge potential for Vietnam. As you said, right? People in Southeast Asia are always the first adopter of new technology, so it's very encouraging.
Yeah, well, it's a very young and innovative population, so I think we learn as much from Vietnam. Vietnam teaches us a lot as a market, and then it's up to us to figure out, okay, how can we provide the services and tools that people want and need?
Right, that's great to hear. And so with that very insightful response, we've come to the conclusion of the discussion today. Dr. Frankel, it's been a pleasure hosting you today.
Thanks very much. It's been a lot of fun. I look forward to doing it again next year.
Thank you so much. And so in our short discussion, we have explored the various components of Vietnam's digital transformation journey. And through the discussion, I believe that there are enough reasons to maintain confidence in the support of foreign tech companies like Meta to our growth prospect. And on the flip side, the presence of Dr. Frankel and other 50 companies in this year's delegation also reaffirms the strong interest of foreign businesses in the Vietnam market. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Frankel, for coming on to our show and for the very meaningful discussion today. We would like to extend our best wishes to you and your continued effort to lead Meta to further achievements. Thank you so much. And to our audience, thank you very much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you and goodbye.